So I want to talk about this, the food Indaba. It's about 6 weeks, a little bit more than 6 weeks to go until the 2026 edition takes place. The theme this year is water and the food system. Last year was AI in the food system. The year before that, we did the economy, the business of food, the business or the economy and the food system. Then we had polycrisis in the food system. Polycrisis never seems to go away. There's always multiple crises affecting the food system. So this year is water. The program runs from the 20th of July to the 2nd of August. We have quite a lot of programming in that space over 2 weeks across different venues in Cape Town, from Makers Landing at the V&A waterfront through to Langa, Belleville, and many spaces in between. There's the professional facing side, which is in the first week, and then there's the public facing side, which is in the second week. And in the middle is what we're calling Marketplace. And Marketplace is going to be a showcase of SMMEs, small, medium, and micro enterprises, who are doing some really interesting agri-processing work, agri-processing products. There's going to be some dining events. There are going to be conferences online and in person. And the in-person conference is on the 24th, which is the Friday, 24th of July. And it's a full-day conference, and it's going to be exploring all aspects relating to the impact of flow of water on the food system, and particularly 2026 with the possibilities of severe water shortages being imposed later on in this year, but in the broader global context of water bankruptcy, as per the United Nations report of January this year, where the report laid out in great detail the fact that we have reached a point of water bankruptcy from which there is really no return, in part, and this is, I'm really glossing it over for the sake of brevity, in part because aquifers are not refreshing, because industrial agriculture has destroyed water tables and soil to the point that regeneration is simply not possible. So it's going to be a very interesting program with voices from the United Nations Development Program, the UNDP, from the South African National Biodiversity Institute, from provincial government, from the private sector, from academia, policymakers. It's going to be a really interesting. So if water and food and those intersections are your thing, then I think you're going to find this very, very interesting. foodindaba.org/FI26 is where you'll find the details. One of the great things for me at this time of the year is that my man Anthony comes to town, and we have the best part of 3 weeks together during this time. So he's moving with me the whole time across all the different events that we do, and he acts as my intellectual, spiritual mentor in this stage, idea bouncer, supporter, shoulder to cry on. And we cook up a storm during that period. It's a really beautiful time. Yeah, that's the food Indaba. I'll probably make another video in a lot more detail. But there is something for everybody, a literary event called Between the Lines, a cooking event for teens, which this year is focused on extracting moisture from your ingredients as opposed to introducing water externally. There's a program for the little ones at the Cape Town Science Centre, the second year in a row that we're working with them. That's also focused on water in surprising places. So, water in plants, water within the natural environment. If you don't have water, where do you get it from? So looking at indigenous knowledge systems with relation to water. The dining events, where we've got some really interesting dining concepts that are going to be played out in a new venue this year called Tauia, which is Hardy McQueen's new joint that he's launching now in the Cape Town City Centre. And walking tours in Langa, walking tour Belleville, walking tour in the Cape Town CBD, focused on, in the CBD, the history of the city through the lens of food systems. In Langa, looking at food culture, urban upgrades that are creating more opportunity for those who are trading smileys in the marketplace, like just urban upgrades that can make it more possible for people to trade more beneficially. And in Belleville, looking at the informal market and the journey from waste to waste to produce, like looking at that journey as we take waste from its source all the way through to absolute regeneration through the gardens that they've got over there in Belleville, working with the Greater Tygerberg Partnership. And a masterclass. We've got a masterclass on Thursday, the 23rd of July, which features the team from Wolfgat in Paternoster. So not just Kobus, the chef who put the thing, who started the thing, but the whole team is going to be there breaking down how they've managed to pull off what they've managed to pull off. On the 2nd of August, which is the very last day, and linking in again to Paternoster and Wolfgat, Rupert Koopman, the botanist, is going to be leading a Strandveld walk along the coastline in Paternoster, and it's going to link into Wolfgat as well. And you'll be able to have a bite to eat at Dispense, which is the little cafe that is the sister to Wolfgat. So yeah, there's some really beautiful stuff there, and it's the last phase now, so sweat. But it's going to be another lovely program. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a period of time where I get to engage for those 2 weeks of production. I get to just like plug into the city in a huge way in this very particular field. The food Indaba is part of the work that I do, and a lot of the work that I do is within the tourism space. And the food Indaba just gives me an opportunity to plug in a completely different paradigm, and it feeds the travel stuff beautifully too. They're both kind of they nurture, they feed each other in really interesting ways. But this phase of the year for me, as I really go very deep into all levels of what's going on in the food system, is always fascinating. Always enjoy it. So yeah, thanks to the South African Urban Food and Farming Trust for this, and to the V&A Waterfront, who is one of the key partners and sponsors, as well as the Centre of Excellence in Food Security, who's the other big partner every year.